Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Paddocast, and the shootout in Indy was everything it was billed to be. Started a little bit slow, but we got there in the end, and Caitlin Clark proved why she is her. I'm going to cover it all, including some fascinating things in this game. But first, let's get into the highlight reel. Game Beach is a rock. We're not booing Stephanie White anymore, and there's some Grace Van Sluten fans in the audience. Big game, our number one picks, but AZ Fudd not going to be starting in this game, still out for another week, her coach said. But Aliyah Boston going to work, rolls off the rim, she's got it back. State Farm Aliyah Boston in this game, and Audrey Sims finding a cutting Alana Smith. Good vision from her. And now Paige Bueckers pull up midi money. She is that good. And Caitlin Clark says, oh yeah, I've been working on it too. Check it, girl, in your face from Caitlin Clark. Great tip out. KK inside, finishing strong. Sending Kuer's flying on that one. Paige Bueckers pull up, gets it to rolling, but note the time here. It is 11-6. There's only 3 minutes left in this first quarter. It is a defensive struggle as Caitlin Clark finds KK rolling on time. Insane vision and passing right there, and great defense from Caitlin Clark on Enrique. She sends her packing, but second chance points would plague the Fever. Alana Smith able to razzle dazzle that rebound in, but finally Kelsey Mitchell on the board. She gets one, and you know a second one is coming off the glass. Beautiful from her. And Ty Harris, well, we're gonna hear about her a lot because what a night she's having with her first three. And then Kelsey Mitchell fouled on the 3-point attempt. Mo out to Kelsey Mitchell in transition, but she's gonna miss at the end of the first quarter. Fever up by 2, and Sophie gonna get the steal, but it's gonna be called for a foul. Unfortunately, not gonna get to run away with that one. Odyssey Sims throwing up a shot, and the Fever defense looking good. It's another shot clock violation, and Aliyah Boston again going for the me-bound 50-50 tonight. At least that's how she's starting, but with great screen for Caitlin Clark as she drives the lane. Beautiful from her. And Odyssey Sims, I miss you, girl, but that's enough threes. It's enough threes, I said. So Sophie Cunningham for 3. KK, great kick out from her. And Kuer for 3 from the corner. She's gonna have a game and a half here. She blocks the crap out of Caitlin Clark. Foul gonna be called there. Comeback in. I don't know how she makes this bucket. I do not know how she makes this bucket. It was impressive as can be. And look at that pass from Caitlin Clark. Just immediately in Aliyah Boston's hand, and they're gonna go for number 2. Not many players can make that pass, but Kuer there for the block. Impressive from her. Paige Bueckers, tough buckets inside. Wants the foul, not gonna get it. But look at this pass to Sophie Cunningham, and a great finish. A tough finish from her, but now comes the mistakes. KK gonna get stripped on that one, and now Sophie's gonna miss the easier version of that shot. Cooks it off the glass, but Kuer inside. Rebound. Odyssey Sims from the corner again. Second chance points. Offensive rebound's a problem, but now we can't handle simple passes out here on the Fever. Get it together, ladies. It's getting tough, and this is called a foul. But on review, the Fever gonna win the challenge. MJ with the block there on Paige Buckets. No buckets here. Look at this turnaround jumper from Mo. You go get it, girl. Holy hell. Out to the corner. Ozzy Sims, stop. Stop. I said enough. I said there was enough threes. Stop now. But Kelsey Mitchell getting blocked inside. But Caitlin Clark finding her spot. Step back. Jumper. It's good. Just take those all day, Caitlin. You can make it from anywhere. Now she's going inside, attacking the basket, taking the game into her own hands, but she comes up limping. Everyone now holding their breaths here. It looks like she just stepped onto Alicia Clark's foot. Comes up a little lame, but luckily she will be okay and come back in the second half. But Paige makes another second chance points bucket, and the Wings are going to go into the half up 2 on the Fever, but it's not going to be for long as Kelsey Mitchell turns on the Jets, gets to the glass, has all of the gears, but KK sells out CC on the help defense right there. Enrique gonna get to the basket, but look at the fake, and Caitlin Clark's now gonna get in, juking the crap out of Paige Bueckers. And speaking of juking the crap out of Paige Bueckers, Kelsey Mitchell unguardable in this league. Enrique though inside, and one for her. There's gonna be a lot of and one mixtape for Enrique tonight, unfortunately. But Caitlin jumping the pass, beautifully done, gets to the basket unharmed. That's what we like to see. And how did she gets this one off, gets a foul, gets to the line, and this Enrique crazy swing from her at Mo. Luckily, Mo's okay there, but Caitlin Clark still getting to the bucket clean this time. Paige Bueckers in transition. You can't leave her open. Mistakes. You don't want to see that, but look who's answering back. It's Kelsey Mitchell. You know she's going to... Caitlin just blows by the Wings defense. They have to call a timeout, and then we leave Paige open again for some reason. What are you doing? She's the #1 pick for a reason, one of the best guards in the league, but Caitlin shows why she is, again, just always answering back on Paige's shots. The pump fake jukes 2 Fever players, and this is the battle. This is what you love to see in a game. Look at the handles from Caitlin Clark. You can't stop this woman. When Paige gets the roll in on the other end, again, back forth, and the Fever, I think they didn't think that was going to get saved. Maddie Segrist hits a 3 on the Alana Smith save, but look at this inbound. Their sideline's out of bounds. There's at least one a game that you're going to get that automatic. When Caitlin, feeling herself with the step back 3, finally gets on the board with a 3. She's been making every other shot at every other level, but Maddie Segrist, bad rotations, gets inside, gets the bucket. Wings still holding a lead, but he shines Allen with the fader. Don't normally expect that one, and the ball kicked away. That's to end the third quarter. Fever still down by 3 in this game despite 17 points from Caitlin Clark, but Ty Harris, the bank is open. The bank is open, and the run is on as Kelsey Mitchell pulls up for a jumper. We're 68 all, and Aliyah Boston, tough inside, gets stuffed and then gets it up and in. And look at Lexi Hall rip the ball out of Maddie Segrist's hand, or Atlanta Smith. I think it was Atlanta Smith, actually. Love to see that effort. Ty doesn't even care who you are. Doesn't care you in your face. Let's go, Ty. 3 for 3 on the night so far. Huge bench points from her. And Kelsey Mitchell takes a charge. Do your best Lexi Hall impression. KK tipping it around, fights for it. Aliyah Boston gonna get the second chance points here. Then KK's gonna get the steal. A tough game for her, but she turns it around now. And Caitlin Clark in transition, you know she's feeling it and gets the bounce. You gotta love to see it. Enrique, though, and one mixed hit, continues answering back. Caitlin Clark in traffic, passes off to KK, who used her athleticism to finish the bucket. And now KK to AB, the bigs going back and forth. Working up, the trap is in. Kuware, though, to Alana Smith, cutting. Love her cuts in this game. Not necessarily against us, but Kelsey Mitchell taking another offensive foul right there. But I don't know how Paige holds onto that ball or maintains control. She does miss, but dang, that was impressive. And Ty Harris, 4 for 4, baby. You know it. Absolutely crutch. And Enrique with the and one yet again. Look at this pass to Aliyah Boston, backdoor. Caitlin Clark on a campaign to get to that 10 assists in this game. PP, nice little pass inside, but it's not what you want to see. And look at Kelsey Mitchell. She is insane that she finishes this. Caitlin Clark down at 9 assists. She needs one more. Enrique gets the bucket, almost gets a tech there. And Caitlin Clark calls for the pick and roll, just says, nah, backdoor again, baby. Backdoor again. 10 assists now for her. And Ty says, why not hit the 5th 3 of the night in the Fever? Fry the Wings. First off, we gotta talk about Caitlin Clark, because there's been so much noise around the league, and like, does the team think she's the MVP? You know, is she on an MVP list? But if she is not, similar to what I said about Kelsey Mitchell last game, she should firmly be on the MVP list, because the things that she is doing along with Kelsey Mitchell are unprecedented. You know, Kelsey Mitchell now extends in this game her 20-point lead. I think she's up to like 18 games or something now. She's blown past Asia Wilson. It's probably not going to stop until this, you know, the season ends or something else happens. We won't talk about that thing though. But Caitlin Clark, with her own injury scare in this game, but absolutely just dominating. Won the shootout against Paige Bueckers. At certain times actually went back and forth with her, trading shots, in almost the same shots. Like, Paige would come in with the midi, she would come back with the midi. Like, it was good basketball. It was fun basketball to watch. But Caitlin Clark ends with 29 points, 10 assists on 61% shooting, and only 1 turnover. So you can't even come at her for the turnovers. You can't come at her for efficiency. She literally just cooked one of the favorite guards in the league, although Paige did hold her out. But she outdid her, she outshot her, she outdueled her, and she should be in the list for MVP. And I would say that I have a video coming up that it talks about MVP candidates, and I'll make that case there. But Caitlin Clark is uniquely very responsible for the Indiana Fever's offense, uniquely so compared to any other guard in the WNBA, no matter how much they score, because of her usage rate, because of her assist percentage, of how many players on the team are scoring points off of her assists, the combined total points, the fact that a lot of her assists are rim assists. So her teammates should be making more of them, although they had a little trouble in this game, but we still got there to 10. Because I think Angel Reese has had, I don't mean to bring her in this, but I think because the Angel Reese phenomenon with rebounds and that double double, I think that people have not understood how amazing it is for a guard to get 25 plus point double doubles at the rate that she is. She's literally in a league of her own at this point. You know, like she has more than any other player in the league of other teams. Like she is incredible. So with all that glazing aside, I think that in this game specifically, her ability to read the game, you know, to let go of the three, find her mid range, convert it into the driving, get to the rim, get to the line, then open up the floor for everything else as the defense is collapsing. And then her three started to hit, other players' threes started to hit. And I think that was really the key to this game. Her passing was absolutely elite. Like there are some passes in this game, like her passes to Aliyah Boston, like in succession off of like a blitz that they in a trap that the Wings were doing, where she got it to Aliyah Boston with like very rarely, there's very few guards that can even make that pass, let alone on the perfect timing. There was one that popped into Aliyah Boston's hands. I think even Aliyah Boston was surprised that she like was like turning or like getting ready for it, and it was just boom, immediately in her hands already. And then she just went and scored. And another one, you know, got blocked, but I think that very impressive passing and her ability to go over the top with passes. End of the game, you know, she got Kelsey Mitchell to her 20 points tonight off back-to-back backdoor passes. One of them, she's calling a pick and roll, and then literally it's just like, nah, it's like send like locks eyes with Kelsey Mitchell. The backdoor happens, and like just the nightmare that the Wings had to deal with this team when Caitlin Clark is on. And they got off lightly because there was a lot of drop dimes in this game. In that first half, like there was a sequence where it was at least like 3 plays back to back to back that dimes were being dropped, and Mo even dropped just a normal pass. And it's like, those are frustrating moments, but we still got there in the end. We still got there. Caitlin Clark just continuing to read the game and play it that well and be the best offensive engine, I believe, in the WNBA, and making her worthy of an MVP ballot, in my opinion, just based off of what she is doing on the floor, how consistent she has been, especially since the All-Star break. Had an injury scare in this game, still came up good, and then just exploded, like rookie of the year type stuff. Like the ankle got broken, then it got snapped back in, you know, perfectly, and now it's stronger somehow. I don't know, but that's how it felt with Caitlin Clark tonight. She wanted to win this game badly. She willed her team to win this game badly and helped the rest of her team be better, which to me is the point of a MVP. So hopping off that soapbox, let's talk about Ty Harris, someone that benefited from the floor opening up, but also just went 5 for 5 from 3 off the bench, was making everything, had one bank in. Like those are just like the fun times you get to have. And Caitlin Clark even talked about in the post game that Ty is one of her favorite teammates, and it's the culture that you're looking for, because Ty hasn't been on a heater for a while. Like she had some good games, but she had to fill in for Caitlin. She's obviously there to support Caitlin and help the team get to W. She's obviously very talented, but when stuff isn't going your way and you're not getting as many minutes, like it would be easy for a player to not be ready. But Ty is a vet. She's a pro. She's always ready, and she's always cheering on that sideline. She is one of the biggest hype men throughout a game, and every three and everything. She's spinning the towel. She's jumping. Like Ty is a great teammate, and I'm proud of her for having such a great performance. 150% true shooting, because that's what 5 from 3 gets you. Pretty crazy day for Ty. Happy for her. And this one, Kelsey Mitchell, on and off night, still gets 23 points. You know, like I don't think that her record ends until the season ends at this point, because this is crazy stuff from her. You know, still has buckets that defy reality. Like her three's not falling. She still somehow gets in there, does some loop de loop. The ball's getting knocked around. She's switching hands in midair. Like she is an incredible hooper. And so I just very appreciative of having her on the Fever and having someone that just go get you buckets and get you 23 points in an off night. And then on top of that, I think she had some really good defense on Paige Bueckers, especially early on, face guarding her, making things difficult. I mean, Paige is still going to get hers, especially if she's going to be aggressive and try. Paige played, I think, 37 minutes in this game. So Paige pretty gassed by the end of it. But it has to be said that Kelsey Mitchell did, use her conditioning to her advantage and wore down Paige and played some good defense. Now, Aliyah Boston, a 16-point double-double on 53% shooting. I kind of made fun of the me bounds, but like that's kind of like she was heading for the 50% shooting night based off of that. She had 2 stocks and a big defensive impact. When she was on the floor, like the Fever were winning. That's like borne out in the game. And it wasn't an easy night. It was like one of those nights that, like, despite, if you hear 16-point double-double, you're like, that's a pretty good night, right? But it was one of those nights where, like, the actual sequence of the game, the fouls she was getting called for, the stuff she was dealing with, it was kind of like one of those like really long days at the office. And you're just like, you have to go through traffic, like an hour of traffic on the way home on top of it. And like, I'm sure that she's just like, I just want to rest and come back out the next game and have a smoother game, because there were just like so many hiccups in this game with like fouls and offensive fouls. Again, they were being very generous on that side. But I think it did lead into other players like Kelsey Mitchell, like we talked about, actually doing some Lexi Hull impressions and taking a charge and doing that kind of stuff. So at least I guess that worked in our favor. She scoped that out for us. KK today was like a growing pain game. It started out, she had a lot of turnovers, fumbling passes, bad passes that turned into turnovers. She had 3 turnovers in the night. But what I'm proud of is that it would have been really easy to get rattled and like have a bad game for the rest of the game. But instead, she stepped up. Second half, played much better, especially into the later quarters of the fourth quarter. Had a big assist, big steal, a lot of good stuff from her. So proud of her for sticking with it and showing up when it mattered. And Lexi Hull, I just got to give her props just for the 1 rebound, ripping the ball out of Alana Smith's hand, because she just like, Alana Smith is one of those players that's like very emotional, and she was getting frustrated during the game. But like, if you have a player like Lexi coming up and just ripping out of your big's hands and having her fall to the floor, like that's a statement. That's a statement moment, and not doesn't go to a jump ball. She just rips it out. Love to see it, Lexi. Keep it up. Mo, not a huge scoring night, but made a sick jumper, was 1 for 1, had 7 rebounds, got more possessions. Stuff you want to see. Sophie found a 3 tonight, but again, kind of missed a few. She had 3 shots on goal, missed 2 of them. And it's just kind of an off night. Got a few defensive beats, but overall, I think because Ty stepped up and filled that void, I think that is what you want to see from your roster. And a lot of people talk about how our bench isn't good and the construction might be bad, but so far, as long as you keep your core players healthy, like there is someone on the Fever that's stepping up, and they still end up with 98 points tonight. Raven took a 3 at the very end of the game to try to get us to 100. But I mean, if we can play defense like this, hold teams, like a very dynamic scoring team that could have snuck out a win like the Wings to the mid 80s, and we're gonna put up high 90s to 100 a night, like that's a winning recipe. Those are games that we are going to win as the Indiana Fever. Overall, this was a little bit of a weird game because the first half was so low scoring. 37 to 35 is very much like the Fever can score that in a quarter. They've shown that they could do that in a quarter. So it is one of the things that to see in a half that's pretty shocking. Obviously they paid it off, and they scored, like 60. I think they scored 63 in the second half. So they made up for it, almost scored double the points, which is pretty impressive in this game. And a lot of it was off the back of getting into the second half. Caitlin Clark coming on that third quarter, putting up 17 points, really willing the team. And they were still down even despite that, but you could sense that the tide was turning and like the offense was flowing in the fourth quarter. Immediately, Kelsey Mitchell's turning it up. She's burning them, and the Fever were just relentless, I think. And so when they finally got that gap, they started to run away, and they ended pretty comfortably in this game. Overall, I think really, again, a masterclass from an MVP candidate in Caitlin Clark. Again, just controlling the pace of everything, and Matt going toe to toe with Paige Bueckers. So shout out to her again, 29 points in this game. I think she had 6 rebounds. I think she shot like mid 50% on the nights of the fever were kind of making things difficult for her still. But man, it's just fun to watch games like this, to see two players actually just go at each other back to back. Incredibly impressive ball handling in game, super fun to watch. But let me know down in the comments, what was your favorite moment of this game? How do you think the upcoming matchup on Sunday is going to go with the Atlanta Dream? And remember to like, subscribe, hype this video up. It definitely helps support the channel. I'm very appreciative for all you that hang with me and watch my content and chat with me. But as always, remember, you're going to be amazing today because you are amazing. And I'll catch you next episode.